The numbers told the story. They always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gill Alexander on VSiN.
Good Tuesday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network. VSiN.com, the VSiN app, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, DK Network. It's Gill Alexander. It's Kelley Bydlon, live from Bar Canada at the D. How you doing, man? Good morning.
Morning. How you doing?
Good. What was the delay? What's happening with you?
You threw me off at first with the. I love the jacket,
yeah,
but it's kind of like a skin toned shirt underneath.
Yeah, so it's a little weird.
Yeah, I thought you were just rocking just the jacket.
Well, you know how on the camera you can't figure out which way to make it normal, so I struggle with that. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we do here. On the show today, a little bit of everything. We've got some college hoops with Jim Root from Three Man Weave, college football with Pete Futak. Yes, we'll get Futak's reaction to the committee, among other things. We'll project forward with him as well. To Army, Navy, to the Bowls, to the National Exhibition Semis, as they are from now to be called here on the show. We'll have Drew Dinsick talk to us about Week 14, of course, this hour in the National Football League. Our power rankings. Can I tease power rankings? I don't usually tease power rankings, but I have a surprise team in the 9 hole.
All right.
Surprise team in the 9 hole.
I saw what it was.
I know you know.
I considered them as well.
Oh, you did?
I did not go there.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I did. We'll get to that. First, of course, this game last night. The Bengals, as 10-point dogs, upset the Jaguars outright in a game that could have far-reaching implications beyond that final score. Whew, what a season in the National Football League. Burrow, Rodgers, Cousins, Watson, Daniel Jones, can I throw him in there? Richardson, maybe Trevor Lawrence now. We'll see. He's getting an MRI on an injured ankle. The Bengals win it 34-31. Before we get into the details of the game, the survivor implications first. Let's do survivor implications before football implications. We are down to 30 in Circus Survivor. 30 entries. 24 more get eliminated with the Jaguars yesterday. Man, this escalated quickly. 30. By the way, nobody has multiple entries anymore. It's 30 entries controlled by 30 different humans/groups. That's it. We are at that point.
What a battle down the stretch.
The intrinsic value of each of the remaining 30 entries, $308,900 United States dollars.
Nice.
We know who 10% of them are.
Yeah.
One of them is VSiN's own Paul Howard. One of them is VSiN's own Adam Burke, who is in a partnership in his. And one of them is this kid, Greg Jones. I don't know if he's a kid. Greg Jones, who mistakenly clicked on the Packers on Thanksgiving. Didn't know it until afterwards when his proxy called him.
It's wild.
He's still alive.
It's wild.
Mom passed away before that.
It's an incredible story. Just a crazy story.
And there are 6, in quotes, more circa weeks left because Christmas is its own little micro week. Hopefully everybody saved Philly for that, or whomever they saved and whatever they're planning. But this has gotten really real quick for real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. From the football standpoint, good luck to everybody, by the way, down the stretch in that. Good on everybody who has gotten this far. And to those who had Jacksonville last night, my deepest betting sympathies, if you will. But this game last night, started out how you might think it would. Well, it was a 7-0 drive for the Jaguars, but on that drive, they lost Christian Kirk to an injury. On the very first play. He didn't get up, never to return. We're going to wait on his injury implications as well. 7-0 when Etienne went in from 4. And then you saw, a couple drives later, because McPherson missed this 57-yarder that hit the crossbar. But Cincinnati got the ball back. And it was a drive that spanned the first and the second quarter where for the first time you were like, Jake Browning might not be that bad, huh? They go 92 yards on 8 plays, mix it in from 6, tied it up at 7. They traded touchdowns again. The Jaguars went back up 14-7. Browning engineers a 12-play, 75-yard drive. And I'm like, oh, my God, is he good? Like, he wasn't even good in college. What's happening?
I know.
It's 14-14 at the half. All right, and then second half begins with a 3-and-out for Jacksonville. Cincinnati comes back. They go downfield. Browning to Chase for 76. Third play of the drive. Bengals lead it 21-14. Why am I doing Seinfeld? Jacksonville comes right back, right? Lawrence off of a Dax Hill tip into the hands of Parker Washington for 14 out. By the way, I thought he was out of bounds. I think I was the only one who thought this.
I love that you texted me
They
that.
gave it to him.
I love that you texted me that because I'm like, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have full control.
Me
but
too.
the time his butt slides out of bounds.
We're the only two human beings on earth. Everybody's like, no, the thigh was down.
I mean, I had money on the Jags, so I was very fine at that point with that being called a touchdown.
So 21 apiece, and then the Bengals, they do this play where Tyler Boyd is throwing the football after Jake Browning was so great, and she throws it right to Josh Allen, not that Josh Allen, the other Josh Allen. It sets up Cincinnati at the 9. That's the Lawrence Drew Brees wave over the goal line. It's 28-21 Jacksonville. Late third quarter, you think the world is restored. The earth has returned to its axis for this game. But Cincinnati, short field after they had backed up Jacksonville on a 3-and-out. They end up with a 4th and 3 at the Jacksonville 10. Browning to chase for 6. 2 plays later, Browning in from 1. We're tied at 28 apiece, 9:27 to go, and this is where everything goes sideways. Jacksonville in a tie game, 28-28. 3rd and 11 at the Cincinnati 23. Lawrence stepped on by his tackle, Walker Little. His leg then gets wrenched underneath him, unable to walk off the field. He got up, thought he could. Couldn't in the end, needed help to get into the locker room. They come back from this. The place is a morgue. Duval County is a morgue at this point.
Yep.
McManus then misses the 48-yarder wide right. And you're like, oh my God. First of all, for the survivor players. Secondly, if the Bengals win this, the playoff implications every which way. Because if the Jaguars win this game, they're the number 1 seed with the ball on their racket the rest of the way, but they would be the number 1 seed right at that moment if they win this game in the AFC. Cincinnati matriculated, 54-yard field goal from McPherson, good, 31-28, 2:28 to go. C.J. Beathard is in. His grandfather's the greatest GM of all time. 6-yard gain on the first play. He fumbles it. They get fumble luck. That might have settled him down. They get it to... and this was a funny sequence at the end, too, right? It's 1st and 10 at the Cincinnati 28. So they're thinking touchdown. They're thinking they're going to win this game. They get an 8-yard gain, but then a sack. They use their last timeout. So they have no timeouts left. Then it's another sack. So the fire drill is coming. It wasn't like the most harried fire drill, but it would have been a fire drill nonetheless. Instead, Cincinnati calls timeout with 30 seconds to go, thinking, well, if he makes this, we want some time. McManus hits the 40-yard field goal. We're tied at 31, and then the last 6 seconds, I don't know what the heck they were doing.
I kind of chuckled when he called the timeout, but then they did that draw play on 1st down. You're like, well, this might actually work out.
Right, they got 18 from Mixon, but then after that, it was like, here's Mixon for 3, and here's the tight end for, dump off.
Right.
What were they doing? So anyway, we go to overtime. Jacksonville wins the toss. Tails did fail, by the way, if you're scoring at home. They get it across midfield, but they stall. So, by the way, there was a downfield hookup that got negated by a hold, which some people thought was questionable. So they have to punt. And so now a field goal just wins it. Cincinnati starts with 5:02 to go in overtime. They matriculate. McPherson hits a 48-yard field goal. Good ball game. The Bengals win it outright. The 24 survivors go down. The Jaguars not only are not the number 1 seed now in the AFC, they only have a 1-game lead in their division.
Sweet.
Because you have Jaguars division.
Massive.
I mean, and now we don't know the status of Trevor Lawrence. We'll get the MRI today. Browning, by the way, 32 of 37 for 354. The 86.5% completion percentage is the highest all time in quarterbacks in their first or second career start ever. Jake Browning
Marino ran right into him last night.
Everybody saw that coming, right?
Oh, yeah, obviously.
491 total yards for the Bengals. So I ask you, does this trigger a bet in anything for you? The Jaguars who were minus a bajillion to make the playoffs after last night, before last night.
Well, we have absolutely no. Okay, I mean, it's a laundry list of injuries for the Jaguars, right? You brought up Christian Kirk going down. We don't really have an update there. We have Trevor Lawrence going down. Sprained ankle is what they're calling it right now, but more tests to come today. We have no idea what the severity of that could be. The left tackle. He was out for the rest of the game. We never heard a report on.
Hurt his hamstring, Walker Little.
Is that what they finally said, hamstring?
Yeah.
Okay, because they kept talking about him being out of the game. And they didn't know why.
That's right. He got bounced, too.
So you have all that. I don't know. I'm just still reeling from this. Gill, I had what did I have? I had Jags to finish off circa millions, trying for a 5-0 week. That goes out the window. That Jags in a teaser last night. That loses. My idiot self bet the Jags yesterday on the look ahead to the Browns.
I wanted to bring that up.
And then all this money I have invested in them to win the AFC South. And when Trevor Lawrence goes down last night, it is... That's a painful feeling.
Their schedule is still favorable, right? So that is at least a plus in the plus column for them, or check in the plus column for them. But obviously the Lawrence status, I will say this. I mean, did it make you feel like the Bengals could be a thing again after last night?
I don't know. I want to say that feels more I want to say fluky, but more one-off than anything. But
maybe.
I mean, this... Yeah, in all of us that were on the Jags, we can sit here and complain about, the bad luck with everything. But 34 points Jake Browning put up on you. Where were you, Jacksonville defense, the 5th-ranked DVOA defense coming into that game last night? Where the hell were you all night long?
You brought up the point about you made a bet on Jacksonville yesterday, but you did say you were treading lightly.
Yeah.
By the way, there was a voice in my head yesterday. I was like, because God forbid something could happen to Lawrence. And I didn't say it out loud. And that's the reason why I don't, because one time I did it for Colt McCoy before a primetime game and he got hurt and everyone was like, oh my God, did you say that? And people are like, oh my God, you jinxed it. It can always happen.
It can always happen.
The other corollary to that is you were saying, oh, you should not make a bet at all or make a small one. The other corollary is you think about primetime games. Some people get ahead of that stuff and bet ahead of any possible injuries for the next week's games, just on the off chance. It's an interesting thing. What an outcome. So many implications. We'll come back. Drew Dinsick joins us. Week 14 in total next.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
If you're looking for a betting edge this college bowl season, the VSiN experts have got you covered. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber with an introductory offer of only $9.99. VSiN Pro subscribers get access to our daily recap of the top plays made by VSiN show hosts and guests, tools like our betting splits that let you see where the money and bets are moving every game, and our college bowl betting guide where you get picks for every bowl game. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Visit VSiN.com/subscribe today to sign up for only $9.99 and become part of the sports betting network. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. It's Gill Alexander. We get tweets at Beating the Book. By the way, our clip that you put out there of me and Felica debating FSU's exclusion from the college football playoffs, 95,000 views on the old Twitter machine. We got tons of responses. I only read this last one that we got from Ray Pierce, because we won't belabor it, but he said, damn...
The clip that Wyatt Tomczyk put out there, if you think I do any of that. God bless you.
Ray Pierce, damn dude, you Perry Mason to the bear. The Perry Mason reference. The fact that he had to resort to some kids in 93 with the same uniforms, got a break as an argument was telling. I was actually on his side of the argument, but you completely convinced me otherwise. How about that?
Yeah.
As Todd Wishnev once said when he was beating me in tennis, but I kept winning the money, he goes, well, Gill, clearly you come from a long line of negotiators. So here we go. This is from...
I like the one we got of just it was nice to actually see two passionate sides of that with a actual civil conversation about it.
Absolutely. If only life were like that.
If only life were like that.
Jesse Welch. All right, guys, my $343,000 survivor pool journey has come to an end. Monetized it well with the Bengals, and honestly, I'm way more at peace with it. Way more at peace with it than I'd ever have imagined. Feeling great about next year with this experience for sure. Tony Farmer is out too. He was one who was keeping us updated. Big shout out to him for making it this far as well. We have a few of these this morning. This one is from Vegas Valquise, who said, down goes Frazier. Sorry, Gill and Kelley, got to miss your opener today as I lost all my entries in the DK $1.3 million survivor pools on the Jags. Too painful. Gill, please send sushi. And then this one, just to follow VSiN. Not sure if you take A&G special investigation request, but I've got a theory someone should look into. The theory is betting spreads is hard. Perhaps if there was a money line contest that's almost impossible to navigate, that might back up the claim as well. It's that kind of morning for one more. Titans Insider, by the way. He said Richardson 100% never had control when his hip hit the ball out of bounds in the end zone. No idea what the booth was talking about. So there's one other person who believes what we believe from last night. Drew Dinsick joins us, ladies and gentlemen. He He has the host of not one, but two podcasts, Dinsick Classic, which is the Deep Dive podcast, which he does with Andy Molitor, one of the funniest guys in the biz. And, of course, NBC Sports Bet The Edge. He joins us from a very chilly, let's send our prayers, a very chilly Long Beach, California. How you doing, man?
I'm tremendous, man. It is. Winter has arrived. It is full on Christmas season here in the shore. We had our Christmas parade on Saturday, Christmas party at my house on Sunday. So I am very much in the spirit. But yeah, it's nice and cool. And if you look across the old NFL weather board for the upcoming week, you already knew that winter was here. We got a lot of totals in the 30s. And if you're scratching your head about any of those, I pretty much can guarantee you'll find some pretty significant wind projections for those games. It's going to be a wild one this week. Excited for week 14 coming up.
Okay, before I follow up with that, what's the temperature in Long Beach? Just let us know.
Like 52. Yeah.
52. Oh, yeah. Man. Wow.
But it's a cold 52.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
It's a dry 52, as they like to say.
It's a dry 52.
All right, back to the weather. How has that influenced your Week 14 bets thus far, or does it make you stay away from everything?
Well, definitely you have to be kind of conscientious about market entry when there's weather expected. You can do one of two approaches. One is either blind fire unders on Monday and then cross your fingers that you're right and come back on some overs that after they've moved 5 points. And I think a lot of people did that just based on the market movements yesterday. The other alternative is you literally do just wait for things to settle down a bit and then just kind of incorporate it, kind of a classic handicap. To me, I took sprinkles on a number of unders in the kind of Lakes region. But the most important and kind of, I don't know, the critical handicap, and I think there's still room on this total, was the Detroit-Chicago game. Really, really interesting matchup here where, what was it, 3 weeks ago, Chicago had Detroit dead to rights and really was just playing outstanding defense in that game until the fourth quarter when they kind of ran out of gas and Detroit put up 2 touchdown drives to ultimately win that one, and then got the safety to kind of make the score look a little bit more favorable for Detroit. But I still very much believe in the Chicago defense. I think the personnel that they added has really helped shore up the run defense. And slowly but surely, the pass defense is coming along as well. Now you kind of add that, kind of good Chicago defense that's being underrated by market to the fact that it's going to be, an outdoor game after Jared Goff has played indoors for I think he's on 10 consecutive weeks or something insane. And Jared Goff in his tiny hands outdoors in wet conditions and winds in the 30s. All of this is just absolute, kind of dream scenario for an under. I think you really have to ask yourself a serious question about, do you just take the under here, or are you trying to parlay that with Chicago? Because you're effectively saying that Detroit's going to be somewhat grounded here. I'm carefully following the Frank Ragnow injury as well. He's a massively important part of Detroit's pass protection as well as getting their run block going. Detroit's offense is, it's kind of gotten a little stagnant through the air. They've turned into just Sam Laporta as kind of the only guy we can trust, which is weird because they were having so much success targeting their wide receivers through the first half of the season. And they really, really want to try to get it going on the ground with, their two-headed attack. But in the absence of Frank Ragnow, they're already dealing with an injury to the guard, Johnson or Jackson. I can't remember his name. This is all starting to, get a little bit interesting in terms of them being able to consistently move the ball on Chicago. So that looks like it's going to be an ugly one. I think under 41 is still a fair bet.
I was looking at these, scanning all these totals. This Thursday night game between the Patriots and the Steelers, the total is 30. So I immediately was on instinct. I was like, oh, what's the weather like in Pittsburgh? It must be terrible. No, the weather's fine. The teams just suck. The weather's perfect. 30 and a half consensus, but I'm staring at a 30. When was the last time we had an NFL regular season total this low? Wow.
1993.
1993 is the answer. That is correct.
Yeah.
Did you touch that at all?
I mean, I'm a sicko who's going to parlay the Patriots Steelers under with the Army Navy under, because that's the way
there
I like to live. Anytime you can sweat out getting above 30 points in 2 games in 1 week, you have to do it. I think this is man, what a matchup.
Yeah.
When Jeff Bezos paid $6 billion or whatever to the NFL for the rights of Thursday Night Football, I think what he was hoping for was the opportunity to broadcast Bailey Zappi versus Mitch Trubisky, and lo and behold, here we are. Not only 1.5 years into the deal. Excited to get kind of a temperature of Al Michaels in this one too, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's pretty excited
thrilled
for this one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Hey, early December, Al, we're going to send you to Pittsburgh, and you're going to broadcast a game with a total that's going to maybe close under 30. I can still see this taking under money. I mean, the Patriots offense is so phenomenally broken. It's really tough to quantify. The offensive line is really, doing absolutely nothing. Ramondre Stevenson is going to miss a few weeks now. He was kind of the only guy you could say had a pulse on that offense. There is no skill position players who are standing out there. The effort that the defense came up with against the Chargers last weekend was very impressive. Like that, any other game that defense plays that well, I think you have to tip your hat and say, yeah, you should have won that game. But I don't really even know how you search for answers here. The quarterback play for Bailey Zappi was about the worst we've seen all year. Granted, it was a small sample size, maybe another week of practice with the ones. Maybe he's a little bit better, although it's a short week, so they can't even really say that. After seeing the tape and looking at the numbers, I kind of just assumed they were going back to Mac Jones, but all the whispers are it's going to still be Zappi time, which is not good because he's not necessarily a professional player, in my opinion. The defense, though, for the Patriots is relatively healthy. You have a couple players who are kind of starting to round into sincere form, led by safety Kyle Duggar, who's absolutely a force to be reckoned with in the secondary, and that spells trouble for Pittsburgh getting the ball going here. I don't know. I may have sounded like I was joking that I thought under was the right look, but I wasn't. I think under 30 is the bet.
Did the game last night, obviously Trevor Lawrence with the injury implications being the headline, but Cleveland installed. By the way, you can't have a spread unless it's installed. These installed as a 2.5 point favorite in this. Did it trigger a bet in that game? Anything else, futures-wise? Or are you just hanging out and waiting to find out what happens?
Well, it's very troubling to try to break that one down, but immediately screamed Houston Texans to win the South when I saw it live. And I already have some Texans to win the South, so if you want to come along for the ride, come along for the ride.
One game back in the AFC South, along with the Colts, by the way. One game back. We'll come back. Some other sides that Drew might have played this week in the NFL. His thoughts on the in-game tournament, the NBA, where he's got power-ranked teams in the NFL. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, we got to take a break and talk about Zyn nicotine pouches. We're always debating what a team needs to do to get to number one, but Zyn nicotine pouches, they're already there. To help millions of people achieve lasting change, earning the title of America's #1 nicotine pouch. Find your Zyn at your local convenience store, online at Zyn.com. That's ZYN.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical. It's Gill Alexander. It's Kelley Bydlon. We are live from the Barrage here at Bar Canada, the D, in downtown Las Vegas. Still to come on the show, among the other guests I mentioned earlier, Cleve TA from Twitter. One of my favorite follows, should be one of your favorite football follows. He will talk Brock Purdy MVP with us as Brock Purdy Propaganda Week begins in earnest right here on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Unabashedly. Drew Dinsick is kind enough to join us for a second segment here on the show, as he always does. And I want to get your thoughts on the awards, too, momentarily. Real quick, because there's a lot to get to. All the sides you've bet this week then are what? Let's be totally candid. A lot of the action that I'm going to make is going to come later because there are a ton of super impactful injuries to be kind of digested. And basically almost every dog on the board popped for me. I don't think I'm going to lay chalk on a single game this week. I think there's a couple of dogs that are easy passes, easy tosses. But I think in general, it looks like a very, very spirited weekend for the dogs. My favorite dog among them is going to be the LA Rams catching 7
7+, hopefully. I'm waiting. I wake up every morning and the first thing I check is Rams price. I'd like 7.5 there, not because I think 7 is like a super key number there. I think the Rams are allowed to win that game, but Rams still to me scream as a buy right now. And the Ravens, while there are certainly a season long worth of data that tells you this is an outstanding defense and an offense that is fine, I think the recent performance, the defenses kind of have something to be desired, particularly in the run defense. If you can go away from Roquan Smith and attack Patrick Queen, I think you can get some stuff going on the ground, and really just the Rams rushing attack being reborn with the return of Kyron Williams, I think is absolutely something to pay attention to. And I know Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua aren't 100% healthy, but you still have a hugely diverse set of weapons in the passing game for the Rams. I think the Rams are a very scary team in the NFC, and I think it's a healthy debate right now who the fourth best team in the NFC is. Is it the Packers or the Rams? Not the Lions, in my opinion. So, definitely kind of a buy, still a buy sign for me on a Rams team that I think is going to sprint to the finish.
Okay. No other sides in the NFL? That's the one?
That's the one I'm the hottest on.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's dog or pass this week.
All right, let's go to awards. You were a Patrick Mahomes guy through and through. Are you now a Brock Purdy guy?
Oh, yeah. Well, at this moment, yes. I think Mahomes' loss in primetime definitely is kind of impactful, but even more than that, the takeaways from that game are there's still huge questions about how Patrick Mahomes is kind of gelling with his weapons. And I mean, it's not being talked about a ton because Kelsey's so ever present with all the commercials and all of the kind of off the field coverage he's getting for his romantic life. It is clear that his injuries that he sustained this season, which have been kind of quietly covered, are somehow impacting his performance. This is not the same Kelsey that really was sort of the break glass in case of emergency, and I'll get the hard yard here. And it's a problem because Mahomes has, no one really to throw to. Matt Nagy's not calling an especially exciting or interesting or creative offense. And the fact that they're relying on Isaiah Pacheco to the degree they are to move the chains is a bit of a problem. Mahomes right now well behind Purdy and Prescott in terms of total EPA generated. He is having like a full on off season, relative to his production in the last 5 years. So this is all going to be tough for him to overcome. Now, Mahomes and the Chiefs could still very well get the 1 seed. I think that they are in trouble this week against the Bills. Personally, I think that game probably closes a pick. That's another one of the dogs I have eyes for, but I need to see some of the Chiefs injury report first, particularly on defense. And honestly, the defense for the Chiefs has kind of been keeping them in the race for the 1 seed anyway, not Patrick Mahomes. So a lot of reasons to kind of downgrade him in terms of MVP consideration. And, if there were no other quarterbacks who were really emerging, then I could still see a path where Mahomes with the 1 seed gets it. But Purdy and Prescott are absolutely distancing themselves from the field in terms of their quality of play, their contributions to offense so far this season. And Purdy now has the absolute, he's got the rail. He's clear of the pack in terms of both EPA generated and path to the 1 seed. So
Let's just throw one.
He controls his own destiny.
Yeah, let's just throw one tweet to sort of contextualize this. This is from Akash Navarathan, who says, Brock Purdy, through week 13, number 1 in completion rate, number 1 in yards per attempt, number 1 in passer rating, number 1 in QBR, number 1 in adjusted EPA per play, number 1 in success rate, number 1 in DVOA, 4th in touchdowns, 7th in passing yards, firmly in the MVP conversation, and no doubt why he's leading the odds. Would you bet, if someone said, I want to bet something right now today, what's the bet? 3-1 on Purdy?
Without question. Okay. Yes. Purdy's candidacy fits squarely into the winner of 8 of the last 10 awards. Yeah. Like he's like you can't really parse this any more finely. Like he is leading in the most kind of highest indicator category, which is total EPA, which I know people say, well, voters don't care about that. Voters might not even know how to find that information. Yeah. You are correct, but total EPA does a very, very good job of telling you who is going to be in consideration because it upweights touchdowns and it really penalizes you for turnovers. And if you know anything about the voting block for the MVP, they hate turnovers and they love above scoring stats.
And by the way,
wins.
Yeah, and oh, by the way, wins. And the other one is everybody saw, Debo taking, short passes to the house this week, but Purdy's yak percentage is actually lower than Mahomes last year, Aaron Rodgers the previous 2 years, but all of whom were MVP winners in those 3 previous years. So
I really wouldn't overthink it in terms of how is he getting the yak? Is it because of the plays Kyle Shanahan is calling? Is it because the talent around him? Is it because Christian McCaffrey's on this team and he has so much gravity? It doesn't matter. He is executing the play of quarterback better than anyone in the NFL this year.
Well,
there's no cleaner way to parse this argument. And it's laughable that people are like, there's too much anchoring. He's Mr. Irrelevant last year. You don't think that that's a story people want to write when they submit their MVP column at the end of the year?
By the way,
oh my gosh, what a story. Mr. Irrelevant MVP. I love it.
It appears that Brock Purdy propaganda week has begun early. I didn't necessarily begin. All right. By the way, David Lombardi putting out the tweet about the yak percentage. Brock Purdy there at 48.6%. If you cared about such a thing, he goes checkmate at the end. All right, I need quick answers because I want to get to a lot here, Drew. Coach of the year, in your opinion, the bet right now would be who?
No bet. Too crowded of a field. Wow. I think Dan Campbell is the rightful leader, but he could struggle down the stretch because the Lions defense is wildly untrustworthy. If he doesn't win 13 games, then the door is open for anyone to come steal it. That door, the potential candidates would include a 1 seed Mike McDaniel, in no particular order, a 1 seed Mike McDaniel, a 4 seed DeMeco Ryans, a 4 seed Shane Steichen, a wild card Ryans or Steichen could get it, a wild card or a 3 seed Matt LaFleur. I think those 4 candidates could all kind of flip Man Campbell if he stumbles down the stretch.
Okay, biggest anomaly in Drew Dinsick's top 10 power rankings in the NFL, either to the good or to the bad, would be?
Rams for me are in the top 10 right now, and I don't think I guess Market's actually pretty close. They're 11th right now. Chargers in the top 10 I think is a joke. Detroit in the top 10 is a joke as currently the way that they're playing defense currently. I think Buffalo is very much in the conversation for the second best AFC team with Kansas City and Baltimore trailing Miami, and I think everything else looks pretty square there for me. I wouldn't necessarily have Cleveland in the top half just because the offensive questions right now and the injuries that they've sustained. But I think right now top half looks pretty decent outside of those examples.
Our power ratings are coming up. I teased it earlier by saying my new team in the 9 hole is going to surprise people. You didn't mention them right here, but you mentioned them earlier. So I'll tease that. That's coming up. Okay. And then final question, NBA. We have 2 semifinalists now, the Pacers and the Pelicans. They're coming to Vegas this Thursday for the in-season tournament semis. The other 2 quarters are today. Knicks, Bucks, Suns, Lakers. Do you have a play on either?
I was wrong on both yesterday, and I guess credit to the NBA. Good luck selling a product with Pacers and the Pelicans in the semifinals. The Suns popped for me. I think the Suns are meaningfully better than the Lakers, but the Lakers do have a little weird voodoo with the way they're playing end of games this season so far. And I liked New York against Milwaukee. I thought that 4.5 was a good bet, but now it's 5 at some offshore places. So I might get just completely rinsed in these Monday, Tuesday in-season tournament games here because market at least is telling me I'm on the wrong side of a lot of these. So yeah, not feeling great.
Okay. Drew, thoughts and prayers, man. Stay warm, okay?
I will, man. It's yes, bundle up, guys, and enjoy the holiday season. So
much cold in the LBC. Thank you, Drew. At whale_capper, Drew Dinsick, everybody. The great Drew Dinsick. We'll come back. Our power rankings in the National Football League with a surprise from me in the 9 spot. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
In the NBA, the game can change in an instant, but no matter how the action unfolds, DraftKings Sportsbook has your back. This week, new customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets just for betting $5 on basketball. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code VSiN. The crown is yours. Gill Alexander, Kelley Bydlon, live from the Barrage here at the D. You got some NBA thoughts as well? things to talk about?
Man, last night was incredible. Last night was incredible. That was I had the dual screens going, but like anybody who was stuck with one TV last night, I felt bad. That was playoff level intensity NBA basketball that we caught last night.
Halliburton messing around with the triple-double. By the way, I have them to win this little in-season tournament. You know how much?
I couldn't remember if you bet that?
Yes.
I couldn't remember if you bet it or you just said you liked that one.
I liked it and I bet it. But you know how much thought I put into that? Maybe 5 seconds.
Look, it's a great ticket to have because what would we would talk about this like if we were talking about NCAA tournament, right? It is relatable where you just got to win one game and you're advancing, right? So the Pacers have one of the best offenses in the league right now, and
they have a puncher's chance in every game.
Exactly, they're going to have a puncher's chance in every single game.
They could lose every game too.
So I don't hate it. Look, do I think Drew's right about it's not ideal for the NBA in season one for the Pacers to have won that game last night? Yeah. No, I'll disagree with him on the other one though. I think New Orleans winning that game. You didn't really have Zion put up his best effort, but I would think the Pelicans are more of an attraction than the Kings. Would you?
Yes,
I would think so. I think the Zion star power. Of Zion. Yeah. I think a little bit more of that.
Had there been no Zion, then no.
Yeah. So I split last night. I had bets on the Celtics and the Pelicans. Pelicans got home. Celtics did not. Tonight we do have the Knicks and Bucks, as Drew was talking about. That number's going up. I think he was saying he was liking the Knicks. That is 5.5. Bucks starting to take money. They were like 5.5, 6-point favorites. It did come down. I know a lot of sharp guys that did bet the Knicks. I'm staying away from both these tonight. Suns and Lakers, I think, is going to be an incredible game. I think we're going to get the best out of LeBron and Kevin Durant really going back and forth at each other. Not exactly ideal matchups for either team. You know what I mean? I think Anthony Davis overs could be a good look tonight. I do think the Suns will struggle with the size of the Lakers. But, man, Booker and Durant have been so hot right now. I'm just riding my futures ticket on the Suns there tonight. I'm going to be staying away from that one.
Anything you wanted to promote basketball-wise?
Oh, yeah. Me and JVT will be down there. Down there for the in-season tournament, semifinals and the finals. So Thursday and then Saturday, coverage TBD. I don't know what all we're going to be doing on shows. I think we're going to be doing some guest spots and everything. But, man, I'm excited.
Nice.
The intensity level in those arenas last night, and I know those are home court home arenas. You're coming to Vegas. But the crowd intensity, and I don't know if you caught the end of the Pacers win, but when we're talking about are the players going to buy into this? Oh, the players are hook, line, and sinker bought into
I made that point. $500K, unless you're making the $40 million top money, it's still a lot of money. $500K for anybody. The Thursday first game's in the afternoon here, right? Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's like 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
I may actually go to that now. Okay. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Mark Dickard. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. When Cincy went for it, 4th down on the first drive, I was yelling, punt, pin them deep. You aren't winning this game 34-31. You got to try to win it 17-14. What do I know? Kevin Ryan. Gill, not only did the Jags take me out of Survivor by losing to Houston week 3, of course they destroyed my moneyline parlay. They are paper tigers. Never again.
Oh, man, I feel for you, bud.
The numbers guys had the Mixon under rushing yards prop everyone was on, looking good too until that timeout with 30 seconds to go. Some of these coaches have a little too much confidence in themselves. Can we all agree the fire drill field goal should not be halted? Yes, I agree with that. Don't halt the fire drill.
You know what? I had the same reaction at first, but afterward, I think it was a good call.
I understood what they were doing.
It was a good call, and it was a good point by Troy last night. That's plenty of time for a kicking.
As I said, it wasn't the most harried fire drill. Yeah. JB, Uncle Bush said, had Strider, Steele, Webb, Cy Young, long odds futures hedged. Snell and Jags to win the division. Snell plus Jags to win the division. Parlay for plus money. Trevor goes down in possibly my cross sport end of season award. AFC South Mishugas. Excellent use of Mishugas. D. Mark B. I, too, had a ton of bets tied to the Jags money line and teasers last night. The special kind of gut punch beat that requires mandatory 2-week betting break. By the way, you see that Yale bad beat in college basketball? If you had Yale against Vermont on the money line, you should take a 2-week break. Jason H11. Gilly, on behalf of everyone not in Long Beach, can you please pass along a nice big pound salt to Whale Capper? Drew, if only he had a good sushi place to find solace. Scotty Lowry, can we get a Joe Pita segment on extracting equity on my Circus Sports Survivor ticket? Are you still in this, Scotty Lowry? Good for you, man. One of the 30? Let's go. And Jesse Welch, can we talk about why on earth Duval County doesn't have a cart to take their fallen football prince to the locker room? It's very true.
I kind of took that more as Lawrence wanted to try to walk it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was weird to me too.
Scott, Mad Marine 77. Looks like those two people that mentioned the 800-1 and 725-1 parlays on division winners may have spoken too early. You say it best all the time. What could go wrong?
Yeah, that's gross.
And then Hodog 23 says, "Oh, Brock Purdy, the new Spencer Strider, yippee!" All right, we deserve that one. Let me just say this about the Joe Pita thing. Well, no, I'll get into it with because Joe Pita and I had an interaction. Did have an interaction about the college football committee. He's totally on board with me. When we get Futak on, I'll give you 3 points I didn't even make yesterday. The last of which is Pita's just sort of hammer
It's going to be
on the whole thing.
toughest 10 minutes ever. Pete texted me yesterday. He's like, "How many segments do you want to do?" I'm like,
Just
really
one,
have time
Peter.
for one, Pete.
Just one beat. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for NFL Power Rankings. Plug it in. Didn't he used to say plug it in? Didn't he used to say? No, he didn't say anything.
That was just me.
That was just
Always.
me. Yeah. All right. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
No, you go ahead.
All right.
Kick it off, buddy.
Not much change at the top, except while I still have the Niners first for weeks on end now, I did put the Ravens at 2. The Chiefs dropped to 3.
Yeah, so did I. Does it not feel a little gross and wrong, though?
No, if anything, I feel like I should drop them more.
Oh, no, I meant the Ravens going up to 2.
No.
Okay.
They're the second best team in football to me.
Okay.
Chiefs are 3, and they better get their act together. They're going to fall further here. Eagles remain 4, even in defeat to the Niners. The Bullies, Dolphins, and Cowboys remain at 5 and 6. The Bills, by default, go up a spot to 7. And I really do think, I'll repeat what I said yesterday, to quote the great Ladies Love Cool James, they are the sneaky, freaky brother sneaking in from the rear. You do not want this team in the postseason. They are on the outside looking in. Their schedule is very difficult, but don't let Josh Allen in because he's going to win a playoff game or two.
They actually have a starting quarterback going.
That's right.
You know, he's above average.
The Jaguars, because of the Trevor Lawrence situation, we don't know how long he's going to be out. They fall out. So much of power rankings this year, we're just talking to Drew about it off air. So much of this is you just can't justify teams with backup or third string quarterbacks being in the top 10 anymore. So by default, the Texans are now my number 8. They go up with their win this week. They've got a quarterback too. And here, ladies and gentlemen, is the one that may shock the world. I got the Packers at number 9. I got the Green Bay Packers at 9, and the Lions, by the way, who again, I've never had higher than 10, remain at 10 just because there's no other team that I really can justify putting in front of them, even though the Lions' defense is terrible. The Packers at 9, can I just talk about that for 20 seconds? They've won 4 out of their last 5 games. They've beaten the Rams, the Chargers, at Detroit on Thanksgiving, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Their defense has given up the 8th fewest points in the National Football League. I think they're a field goal away from giving up the 6th fewest points, the tie for the 6th fewest points in the NFL. Jordan Love is figuring it out and maybe has figured it out. And I'll say this again. When you hold a clipboard under the same coordinator and the same system for 3 years or 2+ years, you tend to be good afterwards. It is clicking for him. The Packers are 9.
Yeah, this is. I mean, look, it's hard to argue. They've probably had the best past 2 weeks in the NFL. I mean, though you brought up the 4 wins, but those last 2 weeks, oh my gosh, been incredible. Definitely were in consideration for me. The Rams as well, as Drew brought up. I think that with that offense and all those guys at least playing on the field, they might not be 100% healthy, but at least all on the field together makes them strong. All right, go through these pretty quick. 49ers go up to 1 for me. I did have Eagles there, kind of left them 1, 49ers 2 for a while. Knew that it would be settled on the field. It was. 49ers get up there. Moved Ravens up to 2. Cowboys go up to 3 for me. I did put them there, Gill.
Wow.
Dropped the Eagles to 4. And then I dropped the Chiefs all the way to 5, kind of like you were talking about. Like, where do they belong?
Yeah.
I think Eagles and Chiefs were tough to figure out how far to drop them, but I wasn't going to put them outside the top 5, but they got to be 4 and 5. Dolphins remain 6, kind of like you said with the Bills. They slide up to 7. Lions still for me will slide up to 8. I still believe that offense will come around. I know, and the defense has been so bad they can almost only get better. Texans in there for me at number 9. They were 10 for me last week, and then. Maybe this is the cop-out, but we have no idea with the Trevor Lawrence injury. I feel like it could be a week and a half or 6 weeks.
That's fair.
So I'm leaving them there at 10.
That's totally fair.
With 3 big question marks.
I've thought about that as well. It's totally fair. But, I mean, this is the year where, and we went through it again, Lawrence pending, though. But Burrow, Rodgers, Cousins, Watson, Daniel Jones, Richardson. Could Lawrence be the 7th to get knocked out for the season? We don't know. We'll find out with the MRI today. Damn near a quarter of the league, though. We'll come back. We'll talk NFL on the other side next.